Albert Castiglia, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're from Miami, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you from there originally?
No, I was born in New York, but we moved when I was very young and practically a native.
Okay.
But, I grew up in Miami and spent the last 20 years in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how did you get your start as a badass blues guitarist?
Well, I didn't become badass until recent. Because when I got my start, I was not badass at all. I was just, I'm still not. I still don't consider myself badass, but I'm making a living. But I just did what every middle-class white kid does. I guess gets into blues. They just start off listening to rock and roll and then play that, and then once you get exposed to the blues, it just changes your life. And then in high school, I started playing more Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy and Junior Wells and stuff like that, and then I went to college and still played, and then when I got out of college I got a job as a social worker. I was actually a caseworker for the state of Florida welfare office, and I did that for 4 years, and then I met Junior Wells in 1997 and I jammed with him. I jammed with him in 96 actually, and then a few months later he hired me full time, and that's kind of when the big break was for me, where I could get rid of the day job and do it for a living and play music for a living. Yeah. So it all started in 97, and but before that I had been playing in bars in Miami for 10 years.
Oh wow.
But the big break came when I was with Junior Wells in 97, because it just opened the door for me to do it for a living. I never went back to a day job ever again since then, and that's kind of where it started.
Kind of like an apprenticeship that you did with
Yeah,
Junior Wells?
It was in every sense of the word, because I was the new guy in the band, and I knew nothing about touring, and not on that level. And it was certainly an apprenticeship. And he actually told me when I joined the band, he just told me to just keep my mouth shut and my ears open and learn as much as I could from everybody in the band.
What was the most valuable thing you learned during that apprenticeship?
How to connect with an audience.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. I mean, Junior was a master at that. Before I joined the band, I just played guitar, and I just kind of looked down, and I couldn't really it's a shared experience, and I came to realize that watching Junior perform every night, and I realized that the audience is a big part of this, and they need to feel included. And it's genuine. The way the connection is genuine. It's not a fake, phony thing.
An energy exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Without them, there's no us.
Right.
And I didn't understand that, not because I didn't care about the audiences or anything. I was a shy person to begin with. I was an introvert, and it took an old blues man to get me to come out of my shell.
Maybe I need to meet my old blues man.
Maybe.
So you and Mike Zito appeared here at Ground Zero in Biloxi in 2022 with the Blood Brothers tour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that experience.
That was wonderful, because I had never played at Ground Zero ever, not even the one in Clarksdale. So it was very special, and to be there with Mike was great too. This Blood Brothers band's been taking off the last couple of years. We've been touring all over the world, and Bill Murray loved the band so much he joined the band for a little bit, and he's done a few things with us. Yeah, we just
really
played. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, his brother John introduced us to him, and we played his golf tournament in St. Augustine, Florida, and he sat in with us and did 5 songs, and then he loved the band so much he wanted to do a bunch of dates with us. So
wow.
We just played in New York City, and it's really a whole different level than being in our own bands. The food's a little better, the travel's a little easier.
Yeah. The sheets are a little softer.
Oh yeah, the hotels are a lot better. No numbers in those
You'll
hotels.
You'll have TVs in the mirrors. So how did that happen though? Did he just wander on stage, or?
No, it was, so like I say, his brother John, he was introduced to Mike and I about 5 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago. And we became friends, and every time we played in New York City, he'd come and see us. And all this during this time that he'd known us, he told Bill about us.
Okay.
And finally, Bill said, he said, "Why don't you have him come over to the Caddyshack tournament? It's this charity golf tournament they have in St. Augustine, and they have a concert thing. Jamie Johnson was there with Maggie Rose, and we were invited to play, and they let us know ahead of time that he wanted to sit in with us. So we worked on some 60s rock and roll covers that he liked. He's a big fan of the British Invasion era, 60s, Dave Clark 5,
Okay.
Animals, the Kinks. He loves that stuff.
Nice.
So we worked on some stuff. We did like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan with him, and he had the crowd in the palm of his hand. You know, he's got this charisma about him. And he's not a classically trained singer, but his charisma and his energy, talking about connecting with an audience, it was quite a magical night. And then he got close to Mike, and him and Mike were talking. He kept in touch, and he crashed a few of our shows. He came to Vegas. He came to our show in Vegas at the Big Blues Bender, and played the whole night with us. Just played percussion and sang a little bit, but he played mostly percussion and just enjoyed the band from the kit, you know, from the conga kit. And then about a few months after that, he came sat in with us in Charlotte, North Carolina, at a theater. And then after that, he was like, I want to do this a lot more with you guys. So we set up a tour for this year.
That's amazing.
And it's been, we've been playing, like we played the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, which is where the Grateful Dead played on my birthday in 1975.
Wow.
And we're playing Red Rocks in June with Big Head Todd and Warren Haynes.
Dreams right there.
We're playing the Ryman.
Oh yeah,
in Nashville.
That's amazing.
It's been great so far. We did New York City last week and got to meet a few of his celebrity buddies.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a pinnacle of success right there.
Well, there's nothing like, I met Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele.
Yeah, I know Key and Peele. I love Key and Peele.
Key was great. He was very nice. And, I got him backstage passes. They came for the show and they wanted to talk to Bill, but they didn't have backstage passes. I said, well, let me see what I could do. And I got some for him. And I said, well, I'll give these to you if you let me take a picture with you.
Nice.
And I got a picture with you.
Nice. All right.
And I met Father Guido Sarducci from Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been pretty surreal.
Yeah, sounds like it. You've done some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
And you have a record from the middle of last year called Righteous Souls. And it's packed with righteous guest performers
That's
collaborating,
correct.
right?
That's correct.
So I'm just going to read off here. We have Papa Chubby, Alabama Mike, Kevin Burt, Kingfish Ingram, and your daughter.
That's right.
Rain Castiglia. Tell us more about Rain.
Well, she's my daughter. She found me 7 years ago. It was the greatest gift I ever received.
Love that.
And as we got to know each other, you know, I found out she could sing, but she was very shy, and I tried to manipulate her into singing in public, and it took a long time. It took a couple of years, and then she joined her mom's band after a couple of years. Her mom's got a Stevie Nicks tribute band in Melbourne, Florida. And then she started coming to my shows and sitting in with me, and I thought it'd be a great idea to put her on the album. So I asked Mike Zito, the head of the record label, if it'd be nice if we could put her on. He said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she picked the song. It was a Bo Diddley song. I told her, I said, I can't do Lady Gaga. I can't.
Taylor Swift.
Can't do Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus. It's got to be a blues song. And she's like, okay. So she picked out a Bo Diddley song, and she nailed it.
I love that.
I think that's my favorite guest of all the guests. Aww. No disrespect to Joe Bonamassa or Kingfish. I love them. They're my buddies. But having my daughter on a record was the greatest thing ever.
That's so special. You're speaking to my mama heart. I've got two daughters as well, and when you said the thing about manipulating her into, I felt that.
Yeah.
I wrote a song for my first daughter when she was born, and I played it for her a few times, and it just crushes me more than anything when she's like, nah, I would rather watch, Bluey or whatever. I'm like, but this came from my soul.
How old is your daughter?
My oldest is 7, and my youngest is 16 months. Yeah. But I feel you that made me laugh when you said that.
My grandkids are 14 and 11.
Okay.
And man, that's a moody period.
Yeah.
I'm just warning you right now. About 4 years, 5 years from now, get ready.
Dude, I'm already there.
Because my granddaughter is a great singer. And I asked her if she was ever going to sit in with me. I asked her a couple of years ago, which was a big mistake, because she was like 12 or 13, and she was 13. She goes, I don't like the blues, pop. And I'm like, oh really? the blues is what puts food on my table.
Right.
I started turning into Junior Wells, and I started going off on her. I was like, don't disrespect the blues. The blues is what pays the bills here, and what lets me buy you all these Pikachus and Pokemons and all this crap you like. And the blues is my job. No, she doesn't. She does not.
One day she will.
I go, the blues is my job, and she goes, Pop, there's other jobs you can do. And I'm like, man. I blocked her on Facebook after that. And then I refriended her.
You blocked her on Facebook. That is the best.
For like 5 minutes, and then I refriended her.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I have a feeling if Facebook is still a thing when my daughter's 14, I have a feeling I'll block her and refriend her at some point.
You will. Many times.
Yeah, daughters. It's something about girls that age. All right, I was one. That's how I know. Okay, so also in addition to Rain, which that's amazing that you've gotten your daughter on this, Daniel Nicole.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Nicole, yeah.
Joe Bonamassa, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, correct.
Ali Venable, Rick Estrin, Jimmy Carpenter, Josh Smith, Gary Hoey.
Your husband.
My husband. My husband is also Josh Smith, yes.
No, it's not him, though.
Not him, different Josh Smith. And Monster Mike Welch. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Very cool. Great list of people. Great musicians, good friends.
People.
Mike Zito, my blood brother partner, he owns the label that I'm with. Okay. And he put out an album a few months before I did. And it's a great record. He had Joe Bonamassa produce it. And my concern was that I didn't know what I was going to do. It was time for me to make a record. And I didn't know where I was going to do it. He had Joe Bonamassa producing it. He produced his record in L.A. At Sunset Sound Studios, where Purple Rain was recorded, and Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses, and Nevermind, all these incredible rock records. So my concern, there wasn't going to be any money left for me to make a record.
Right.
But he found a little bit of money and sent me to San Jose, California, to record at Kid Anderson's studio at Greaseland. And it was Mike's idea to make it a guest album. And I was worried I wasn't going to be able to get any of these fine folks on there, because they're much more successful than I am, and they're very busy. And Joe Bonamassa was the first one to sign up for it. He signed up, and then Papa Chubby came. And Kingfish was going to be tough because he was one of the biggest blues artists around. And Zito had trouble getting a hold of him, and all I had to do was text him. And I said, hey, you want to play on this? Yeah, sure, send me the track. It was very easy. And normally it's very hard to get these kind of records together because everybody's got different schedules.
Right.
But they all worked with me, and it meant the world to me that they could all be a part of it. I probably won't do another record like that because you can't make too many friends records. People get tired of that. But I mean, this was for me.
Yeah.
I love my friends. I think it's one of the biggest reasons I do this is just the friendships you make. It's certainly not for the money. I mean, we're not getting rich out here, but the memories and the friendships and making at least one kind of record like that. Yeah. I think anybody that's touring should do at least one record like this in their life.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, money comes and goes, but legacies last forever, right? And it sounds like you're doing the damn thing and killing it. So, Albert Castiglia,
enjoying it.
So good to meet you and talk to you.
Good to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time. Looking forward to hearing you.
Anytime. Thank you.